So we're up on live on YouTube now?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start then with the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join that. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa
Bhagavato Arahato
Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang
Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang
Saranam
Saranang
Gacchami.
Dutiyampi
Yampi Sangha Saranam
Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So I hope you're all able to, you all received the mailing I sent out on Monday with the topic that we're going to begin discussing this week. And that topic is on the 7 purifications. Now, I've gone over this topic before, and 7 purifications are kind of the beginning part of even a longer treatise called the 16 purifications. But 8 of those belong within these 7, actually. But anyway, I don't want to make it complicated. So, the purification, what does the purification mean? It means purification of the mind from the defilements that keep our mind locked into dualistic perception and dualistic clinging and attachment, and the law of karma, creating all kinds of karmic actions based on attachment, aversion, and delusion. So basically, it's the purification that needs to happen before the mind reaches, let's say, spiritual dimensions, or eventually to enlightenment. But at least purifying the mind so it can experience more states of well-being and happiness in a more stable and continuous level, rather than erratically going up and down and, being, afflicted by so many different emotions and states like the average person goes through. So anyway, so these 7 purifications, actually, they begin with, you've all heard of course, the 3 divisions of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, or skillful conduct, concentration, and wisdom. So the whole of the Eightfold Path is centered around developing the skillful behavior that's exhibited by observing the precepts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, and then the purification of the sila is the control of our senses, but yeah, that's gained by observing the precepts. And then the concentration, developing mindfulness in concentration, which is developing our mind and purifying the mind of greed, hatred, and delusion. And then gaining wisdom, which means the sort of transcendental wisdom and awareness that comes out of deeper meditation. So anyway, now in the attachment I sent out, or in the mailing I sent out on Monday, I sent out two attachments, one with the sutta, sutta number 24 in the Majjhima Nikaya, the Rata Vinita Sutta. And this Rata Vinita Sutta actually mentions or is focused on these 7 stages of purification. It's one of the few suttas, or could be only sutta, that in which these specific 7 stages of purification are mentioned in that particular order. Now, the stages of purification are mentioned in different ways in different suttas by the Buddha, but this particular enumeration of them, this gradual development of them in this order is particular to this sutta. So I hope you're able to at least read through that sutta, because it's a delightful sutta, actually. It's a conversation between 2 great monks, Venerable Sariputta and the Venerable Punamanthaniputta. Some of you may have heard those names before. And the introduction of that sutra is what I liked a lot about it, but also the way that those 2 monks interacted in discussing these 7 stages of purification. I'm not going to read through it because I trust or hope that you were able to read through it at least once, the one on the sutta. And then in addition to the actual sutta, which those 7 stages of purification are not really explained in detail in the sutta. But the book, the PDF version of this book called The 7 Purifications, is one of the few books written on the subject by a meditation master in Sri Lanka, explains them in more detail. And I'm gonna be going over those as well in the next few weeks. But these 7 stages of purification are, if you've read the sutta, are talked about like the 7 stages of the relay of chariots, or for Westerners familiar with American history in the American West, right? So the Pony Express, right? We'll use the Pony Express because it's probably more understood than the chariots. But so in the Pony Express, they use, the person uses one horse to, ride at full speed for, 10 or 15 miles. I don't know exactly how long, until the horse gets tired. And then he stops in a little outpost, a station, where he changes the horse and he gets on a fresh horse and then continues riding with the mail pouch to the next station. And he might go on, and taking him 7 stages to reach the next big town. And so each horse was used to get to the next station, but the horse itself, wasn't that station. It was just the means of getting there. And each of those stations was only an intermediary to reach the final goal. So that's basically the brief summary of the these 7 stages of enlightenment and or purification, and the sutta, the discussion that was taking place between these two monks. So the first stage of purification is called the Sila Visuddhi, and that means the purification of virtue or conduct. And basically that means trying to live one's life in following the precepts, or sila. So the word sila, the Pali word, means that kind of practice or behavior that brings about a quieting or a more tranquilization of our erratic and negative actions of body, speech, and mind. So moral guidelines, to use that term, moral guidelines are similar to like the commandments or the precepts to avoid the negative behaviors, physical as well as speech, by body, speech, and mind, following these silas, especially the body and the speech. So because that's what brings about most of our problems in life, is our interactions with others, getting caught up in physically harming, abusing others, telling lies, other forms of bad speech, and basically the 5 precepts. So avoid from killing, lying, sexual misconduct, stealing, of course, and intoxicating the mind. So those need to be, because most of our problems come from not following those precepts. Now, of course, for the average person, if they don't care about meditation, it doesn't really matter, because but if you're interested in meditating, if you're interested in calming your mind, if you're interested in gaining deeper levels of let's say the spiritual understanding or realization, or at least freeing the mind from suffering, then it really starts with learning how to purify the sila. So purifying those 5 gross sort of negative actions of body and speech primarily. So you're all familiar with the 5 precepts, you can imagine. But there's other forms of precepts, like if you take 8 precepts when you're going to the monasteries or meditation retreats, you might observe 8 precepts, or if you're a monk or a nun, you might observe more. But basically, whatever sort of practice you're following in life that helps to reduce, mainly the purpose of the sila, the practicing sila, is to overcome worry, remorse, fear, guilt, greed, and hatred, which are the things that cause our mind to, be agitated, and to prevent you from gaining concentration. So it's a prerequisite for gaining deeper levels of mindfulness and concentration. So now, the practice of sila normally is undertaken at the beginning of one's practice. But in this day and age, a lot of people, they want to practice meditation, and they hear about meditation. They try to practice meditation, but usually the meditation is very difficult for them, because they have lots of pains in their body. They have lots of wandering thoughts. Their mind is full of desires, aversions, memories, and it's just constantly these kind of thoughts, disturbing thoughts, distracting thoughts, or even sleepiness and restlessness, the 5 hindrances basically, are are what, occupy probably the most part of especially a beginner's meditation, people that are just starting, but even people, intermediate people. Because, if you've been practicing for a long time and your meditation isn't improving, then you have to double check and look back about your practice of the sila, because sila is considered to be pretty much a prerequisite for attaining. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect in sila in order to start meditating, but to gain any kind of gradual progress in the sila, then that's usually, necessary. And when you start to meditate, you'll understand why you have difficulties meditation, because it's because of these thoughts, lustful thoughts, desires, aversions, angry, just restlessness, not being relaxed, worrying about things you shouldn't have done, or did things you shouldn't have done, or didn't do things you should have done. Comparing, judging oneself with others, and just so many distracting thoughts. So a lot of that comes from, not having controlled your actions of body and speech. So the Chitta Visuddhi is the second level. So the purification of sila is for reaching the purification of the mind. And usually the purification of the mind, it means suppressing the 5 hindrances. So those 5 hindrances of sense desire, ill will, restlessness and worry, sloth and torpor, and doubts. So those traditional 5 hindrances, those are what block our ability to gain deeper states of meditation. And I'm sure we've talked about this a lot before. You already know about that. But basically, and we suppress those 5 hindrances. Of course, they're not easy to suppress if you're living your life that keeps on agitating these hindrances. So, it's the things we do by not following the precepts, you create the conditions for these hindrances to stay strong and to keep coming up to, make your meditations very, difficult or very superficial. And cause some people saying, oh, I'll never be able to, calm my mind. And, they wind up maybe giving up. So now in meditation, there's 2 ways of suppressing the 5 hindrances. And that is traditionally through developing concentration. So there's 2 levels of suppressing the hindrances through what is called the samatha jhana and vipassana jhana, or the traditional idea of one-pointed concentration, where you focus your attention on, basically one object or a very limited area of focus, and try to, keep the mind, focused on that without any thoughts carrying you away to the past or the future. And basically what that does, it brings your mind to the present moment, because so we'll use the breathing as the example, because that's one of the most common forms of developing the samatha bhavana, or initially to develop concentration. So the anapanasati. And so you tune in to the in-breathing and out-breathing and focus on either the point of the tip of the nose, or focus on the rising and expanding and contracting of the breathing, or it could be some other part of the body, but let's just use the example of the breathing. And if you can eventually get success, let's say if you could, keep the attention just focused on the sensation of the air, going through the nostrils or the tip of the nose. And somehow, if you're lucky, be able to keep all the extraneous thoughts from coming and going and get absorbed into that point where you lose awareness of most of the things around you, and that object becomes very prominent in the awareness and suppresses the ability to think about other things. So you attain these what are called the jhana factors of applied and sustained thought, then rapture and happiness born of seclusion, and the one-pointedness, that means the mind that's sort of fixed to the meditation subject. So that's the popular sort of idea or result of practicing concentration. But that's not the only method, and it may not be the method that's suitable for everyone. So, but anyway, that's called the samatha jhana, or one way of defining it, samatha, or samatha jhana. But the other way, and that suppresses those hindrances. And then usually people, once they suppress the hindrances, the mind becomes clear, they can actually let go of that object of concentration, and their mind stays in the present moment, and then it can easily start observing the flow of impermanence or developing the vipassana awareness. But one can also attain the jhana by practicing vipassana before attaining that level of samatha jhana. One attains the vipassana jhana. That means one starts, usually it's, you start by focusing on the expanding and contracting of the breathing process in the abdomen or rib cage or chest, which is a more open form of awareness. But you can, get very concentrated in that, and also using the body and tuning into the body and gradually developing the momentary concentration, or what is called khanika samadhi. The ability just to note different sensations, the in-breath arise and vanish, some other sensation on the body arise and vanish, sound may arise and vanish through the mind, the thought, and you tune in and gradually open up to what is called the flow of impermanence. And when you're doing that, the mind cannot bring in the past or future or think about any other objects, because the mind is getting very concentrated in that flow of awareness, even though it's not one-pointed concentration, staying fixed on one object. It's focused on each object as it arises and vanishes, and then notices something else. And that form of concentration also suppresses the five hindrances, and you attain what is called the vipassana jhana, that also has that sustained thought, piti, sukha, and ekagata. So anyway, there are some teachers who will argue back and forth about which method is best and so on. But it's like, certain people will find it easier to just focus on one object and develop the first jhana on that. But others who maybe have tried that and didn't get much success, they may then try the vipassana method, and that might be more suitable for them. So basically, a person has to kind of, try both of those methods and sees which one gives one the best sort of results. But anyway, either one of those takes a long time to develop, and hours, hundreds, if not thousands of hours of practice to develop that. Anyway, that's called the chitta, the purification of mind, but basically it refers to the mental hindrances, which includes being sleepy, sleepiness, restlessness, sensual thoughts of sense desires and ill will, and just restlessness. Always wondering, when's this going to be over? When's this going to be over? So all those are suppressed, and the mind attains a very tranquil, but yet very alert and calm, present-centered awareness, whether it's on one object or it's on the flow of the sensory stimulations that are arising and vanishing through the body and mind. So that's called the Chitta Visuddhi, or purification of mind. And when one attains this purification of mind, then one has to turn it anyway to observing, discerning the mind and matter, or what is called the third purification is Ditthi Visuddhi, which means the purification of view. And this is the beginning of the Vipassana method, or the Vipassana type of insights into Nama Rupa. And it's a little bit more, I think we're going to save this for next week, because otherwise it would take up too much time this week. Excuse me, take a drink of water. So those first two purifications are considered to be, the sort of the preliminary work in developing initial mindfulness and concentration. And then the further purifications deal more with the Vipassana aspect of meditation, or the seeing reality as it is, and to help to overcome wrong views. So I, encourage you, especially to these, if you haven't already, in that PDF version of the book that I sent out on Monday, during this next week, to reread that if you haven't, if you've already read it, or if you haven't read it, read through that. It's very detailed, but it is very, insightful. But especially read the part on the Ditthi Visuddhi, because that's usually not talked about too much. Usually most, people and teachers, they talk about the sila and the concentration, the initial concentration and attaining, jhanas and so on. But this developing the understanding of the mind and developing wisdom, that's the, sort of the deeper aspect. Okay. So now I want to see if there's some, I know there was at least one chat thing. There's a question that was put in the chat. Now, if any of you want to, send in a question on the chat, you can do that, or when I finish answering this question, you can raise the golden hand. Okay, this question comes from Perth, Western Australia. There are times that I lose interest in my sitting meditation, but continue to be mindful throughout the day. The reflection side and the impermanence of each phenomenon. Now, I didn't see a question in there, but I'm not reading all of it. Is there more to it than that? Prashant, is there more to that question that I saw?
Can I ask Bhante? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
The question is, how can I get back to my sitting meditation? Because I know where the concentration is important only in my sitting meditation. But beside the other question, when I walk around, if I see somebody, or my whole idea is to help somebody, you know, and I reflect. If I see an old person, I think, okay, one day I'll be like that, you know. So if they need any help getting into the bus or anything, I would ask, do you need any help? So that part is there. But my sitting meditation, however, has got a little neglected, and I don't know why.
Well, because you're probably not making enough progress in it that you would like to. So therefore, or maybe there's so much, you have a lot of pain in the body when you meditate, or too many wandering thoughts. So the mind is not getting interested in the meditation. You have to get interested in the meditation.
Right.
Though you're getting benefit from it, then you'll do it, just like other things in life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that is a very common, issue that so many, especially people in the lay life who are very busy with their various family work and so on. So yeah, that is a problem. But somehow you have to make the effort to do that,
Right.
or to generate that interest. And especially the insight meditation, that's more interesting than just, gaining one-pointed concentration and feeling happy. But you'll get bored of that eventually too. But with insight, you won't get bored because it's a continually evolving process.
Right. Yeah.
Until in many stages of insight, and there's something interesting around every corner. So that's what. I think you have to develop that interest,
Right.
in meditation. And that comes from the effort, the right effort. So it's good to have people to meditate with. When you're alone, it's difficult to do that. But if you have a meditation group and or you have a center nearby where you can go, at least at those times you'll be able to sit with them and hopefully restart that practice.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, there's another question here. Page 24 of the book lists how to simplify life in order to meditate. I found it a bit deflating for a lay person. Any encouragement for us householders? Yes, you're very right. That list of the impediments to concentration will be discouraging for especially for lay people, because basically it means stop doing almost everything, right? So. But, that's referring to people that want to go through all those stages of meditation and, all the jhanas and so on. But for the average layperson, the main thing of the 5 precepts would be the most important thing. So if one can work on especially trying to purify the sila, then perhaps with that might allow for some of the other type of distracting situations to gradually weaken, or when things occur in the life, you have to have a sort of long-term view. In other words, list all the things that are, distractions for the meditation. And then when your life changes, where those distractions, maybe, let's say you got some kids, right? So, when you're raising kids, of course, that's a full-time job and, very distracting, and especially when they're teenagers and then they're, planning out their life, it's very hectic. And even, of course, when you have babies. But when those kids finally, get old enough, when they, leave the house, or other situations happen where some of those duties or involvements, don't create new ones. That's the thing, don't create new ones. And I always give the example I have. Let's say you had 5 or 6 cats or dogs. And then you couldn't go to meditation retreats because, who's going to take care of them, or they get sick and you worry about them and so on. But, why did you have 5 or 6 dogs or cats? Well, maybe you, out of compassion, you took them in. But now this is just a kind of a funny little example maybe, but you can apply it to other situations. So when one of those cats dies, don't get another one. Or when one of the dogs dies, don't get another one. And when 2 or 3 of them, as they gradually something happens, don't get more of them to fill the vacuum. But that's what people do when their life changes and something doesn't happen. Like one hobby, maybe the bridge club breaks up and you're not going there every week, and then you think, oh, well, I'll go to some other. And we do so many things out of loneliness or out of boredom that then cause these problems of when we want to meditate. So I know it's very difficult, but you can use that as a guideline, that you try to simplify the life as much as possible according to your circumstances, as when those kind of situations change in the life. And you have to, value that, the more time to meditate and to go on retreats and so on. So anyway, I hope that might give you some insight on that. I mentioned the 17 stages of purification in a previous session you conducted. Can you let me know where I could find it? Just Google it. Google it. Those, as I mentioned, the 7 purifications, the 6th one of those has 8 parts of it. So in the 7 purifications, once you reach the 6th one, that's purification of the way, knowledge and vision of the way, that refers to the 8 insight knowledges. And so that's adds 8 more, 7 or 8 more to that list of 7 that was already there. And then there's some other last ones to it. But you can Google in the 17 stages. That book that I attached, that PDF book, once it gets to the that 6th stage of the 6 out of the 7, it goes on to mention the 8 insight knowledges, and then the 3 knowledges of the Magga and Phala. So all together, you'll find the 17 there. Okay, friends. So, does anybody have any further questions?
Bhante, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, Bhante, I had some time ago, I had asked you, I think through email or whatever. Um, I have been looking for a good book on losing the self. Do you have any suggestions?
Just practice. You're not going to lose a self unless you understand what it is and practice meditation. And
Yeah, that's all there, Bhante. But I think sometimes when you read uh, a good book, I think it kind of reinforces, what you're trying to do. And just as a helpful tool, would you have any suggestions on a good book?
well, I wrote a book, Breaking Through the Self Delusion, is all about that. And it's about understanding the five aggregates. But, there's different books. I don't know all the books out there. Venerable Punyaji has written a book. But I would say just look up the topic on the internet if you want. But, it's only through meditation are you really going to, you have to understand what creates the self. And then you have to do the kinds of reflection and meditation that help to deconstruct the sense of self.
Yes, Bhante. I mean, through meditation, as you say, that is the best, the most practical tool of doing that. And then when you, in your daily life and your relationships and things like that, you see how harmful it is to put the self in the forefront, because you always, if you're attached to the self, you go through a lot of dukkha. And
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I mean, meditation, of course, as you say, it is the best tool of losing the self. The more you meditate and the more you realize how harmful it is to empower the self, the more you get detached. Definitely, I agree. So thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, friends. So I think we will bring this discussion to an end now. And take a short break and then come back and see if we can maybe practice some Chitta Visuddhi, okay? Or Ditti Visuddhi, okay? So we'll see you back in a few minutes. need to adjust this so my math is in there. It shows your math there. Help me adjust this. I need my math in there. I don't know what happened. No, it's gotta be, usually it's back here. But look at this. It's not in the frame. I don't know why.
Bhante, you have to lower the camera screen.
Oh, that was the problem. Okay, thank you. Sure. That was the problem. So start standing straight. Keep your chin level with the floor. Just relax your shoulders. Feel your arms hanging at the side. Gently close your eyes or feel the outline of the standing body. Head on top, arms at the sides, feet pressing the floor. Then begin some deep, slow breathing, three-part breathing, expanding your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding air in the lungs. 2 or 3 seconds, slowly breathing out. Take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. So combine these breathing with these movements. On the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, stretch the head back, stretch upward. Out breath, release the fingers, arms back to the sides. Again, in breath. Stretch out. Out breath. Once more in. Out. Feel the sensations. Close the eyes. Feel the increased body sensations. Clothing touching the outer skin. Subtler life force vibrations under the skin. Feel the hands and the fingers. increased blood flow, stretching the fingers, feel more sensation. Just remember the present moment of standing, letting go of your thought. Yeah, the next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other, about 5 inches, 6 inches apart, and stretch up. Out breath, come back down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Out. Close the eyes. Keep feeling the body. And hold the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Remember standing, standing, standing. Feel the different body sensations. Let your thoughts come and go at the back of the mind. Sensations of the body in the front of the awareness. And next we'll do side bending. On the next in breath, raise both arms up. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out breath, bend over the right side. Keep the arms and hands parallel to each other like railroad track. In breath, lift up. The other side, out breath. In breath. Then to the right, out breath. In. Out. In. Once more. Lower the arms on the out breath. Close the eyes. Feeling the body. Clothing touching the outer skin. Increased sensations under the skin. And the body movement. Remember standing, standing. And next we'll do the squatting or knee bending. The next in breath, lift up on the toes, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out breath, bend the knees, lower the body down, or you can, squatting position. Take a deep breath, feel the muscles of the legs, pushing the body up, on the toes, and out breath. Relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, pulsations. Remembering standing, applied and sustaining thought, standing. Now, spread the legs, feet apart, about 3 feet. Pulling the arms out, we'll do twisting from right to left. Breathe in. The out breath, twist to the right. Your eyes focus on the hand, going back. In breath, and back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, then twist to the other side. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Sensation of the legs spread apart. Hands touching the sides. Clothing touching the skin. Feel the head on top. Eyes in the socket. Feel all the body sensation, the activated life force sensation. Now place both hands together at the chest. The in-breath, hands over the head. And the out-breath, hands bend the knees, lower down, and keep the back upright. And stretching the hips and knees. In-breath all the way up. And out-breath. And come down a little farther. In. Third time. Out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes. See the outline of the body exactly as it is. Each foot pressing the floor, hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin. Head on top, eyes in the socket. Okay, one last exercise. Backward, forward and backward bending. Just keeping the legs apart, otherwise the better. Hands touching the front of your legs. Breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward. Keep the head lifted up, looking out straight ahead. Let your hands come down to your kneecaps. First time, keep the legs straight, the arms straight. Flatten the spine. In breath, lift up. Move the hands under the buttocks for support. Let your head go back. On the out breath, gently bend backwards. Keep your eyes open. In breath, lift up. And again, the out breath. Second time, let the hands come below your knees. So keep the head up, legs straight. Feel the extra stretch in the hamstring muscles. In breath, lift up. Once again, the back bend, just be careful. Out breath. In breath, lift up. And the third time, let the hands come down as far as you can towards your ankles or feet, and then hold on there longer. You know, that extra stretch in the back of your legs, let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. You know, those sensations. The in-breath, lift up. And once more, the back bend, just be careful. In breath, lift up. The out breaths, relax. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. If you can feel those subtle sensations, feel some tingling sensations, not too many thoughts in the mind. That is the beginning, access concentration, beginning of piti, sukha, one-pointedness, keeping the attention in the body. Now bring the legs together. Please feel the whole body. Just doing yoga exercises and getting grounded, centered in the body with sensations is a very good way for reaching this centeredness of the mind with a chitta visuddhi, temporary suppression of the hindrances. Okay. We'll come back and get ready for the sitting. Let's get comfortable in the sitting posture. You align your spine and the back of the head in a straight line. Find the center of gravity of your head and spine over the hips. Gently close your eyes. Feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Feel your face, sensations on your face, the eyes and the socket. Just try to feel that outline of the sitting body. Sort of hold the outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. The sense of the head on top, the arms hanging at the sides, clothing touching the skin, the buttocks pressing the seat. Feel the way the knees are bent and the feet tucked underneath. Then begin some deep, slow breathing like we did in the yoga session. Expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. Feel the subtle sensations. And slowly breathe out. Sort of feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10, try to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with the counting and your concentration to feel the breathing. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2, in 3, out 3, in 4, out 4, in 5, out 5, in 6, out 6, in 7, out 7, in 8, out 8, in 9, out 9, in 10, out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Just let the breathing return to its shorter, irregular rhythm, uncontrolled rhythm. You continue to watch it, to feel it. You're feeling the air that goes in and out of the nostrils, or touches the rims of the nostrils, or feel the expanding and contracting sensations of the abdomen, chest. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those tactile sensations with the breath in the tip of the nose, or the clothing rubbing against the skin of the abdomen, rib cage or chest. You can use these brief mental notes to help stay concentrated. Just sitting, out, out, sitting. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Try to feel like being a scientist looking down through a microscope to feel those sensations of breathing. Or if you could hold the outline of the body in the mind's eye, feeling the breathing in the middle of that outline of the body. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Especially with each out breath, just allowing the body and mind to relax more and more into the present moment. It's cultivating applied and sustained attention to the breathing process. Try to notice the brief pauses between the breath. Being alert for thoughts trying to sneak in, to steal your attention away. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. turning up the power of the mental microscope to notice more and subtler details, sensations of the breathing body. If you have difficulty feeling the breathing, take some slightly deeper breaths. You'll feel the breathing sensations more clearly. In sitting, out, out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Try to notice how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, sometimes the pauses between the breaths are longer or shorter. It's always changing. Gradually weakening, overcoming the hindrances. Mind's becoming more clear, bright. Feeling that vibration, the present moment. Feeling those pleasant sensations in the relaxed body and mind. If the mind has become calm enough, try to notice other sensations coming and going in and through the breathing body. Breath is always there in the center, and around it, other sensations can be noticed. Or even any sound coming and going where you are. Thoughts moving through the back of the mind. Try developing that momentary concentration. Just to notice from moment to moment the various stimulations coming and going through the breathing awareness, through the body awareness. Itchy, prickling sensations, aches or pains. Noticing more subtle sensations of the breathing. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations come and go. Sounds come and go. Thoughts, urges come and go. Mind is centered in the breathing body. Everything comes and goes in this breathing body awareness. That's the vipassana jhana. Dukkha patacani dukkha bhaya patacani bhaya soka patacani sokha hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. And thus spoke the Buddha. And I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting on a long out breath, especially after the 3rd time, chanting that sadhu. Try to feel those vibrations in your body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Breathe. And place your hands at the edge of the knees. Take one more deep in breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back, pull against your hands, arch your spine, look up at the ceiling. Lift the head up on an in-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest on the out-breath. Stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the head up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face.
Yeah. Oh my gracious.
Okay, friends. So this brings our evening Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. And try to keep your meditation practice, going during the week. Make the time to try to get at least some morning meditation or evening meditation in. Try to contemplate or understand how the sila, how our behaviors following the precepts or not affects our mind. Be aware of the hindrances during the day, the things that keep our hindrances strong. Okay, so try to read some more of that book, especially the sections on the Ditthi Visuddhi, And hopefully we'll see you back again next week. Okay? So don't
Thank you,
forget
Bhante.
mindfulness a
Thank
day
you, Bhante.
took away
Thank you.
Buddhaya.
Thank you,
Thank
Bhante.
you, everyone.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Everyone have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Yeah.